Two Worlds, One Family by Dragon Translator. Chapter 28. A Promise Kept. Wait! The dragons all paused at Hiccup's cry. He rushed around and stood in front of Lawkeeper. The nightmare stared down at Hiccup, pupils slitting and dilating with every heartbeat. Wait, please! They know they were wrong. They have apologized. Lawkeeper hissed slightly, but he and the other dragons slowly relaxed. Hiccup breathed a sigh of relief. It had been a week since they had found Hamish II's treasure. With more dragons and humans working together as time wore on, preparations for winter got done sooner. This left more time in the day for other things. Hiccup and Toothless, as they had promised, finally were able to tell the elder dragons and many others who had joined them at Lawkeeper's cave the story of how they met. Everything had been well, until Hiccup got to the point where his father disowned him and took Toothless to the Red Death's Mountain. Just as the words passed his lips, all the dragons, except those bonded to humans, and those who had been at Gida's, reacted with snarls. As one, they flared their wings and voiced their intent to teach the humans how to respect an alpha. It wasn't a great time for me, Hiccup said softly, but it ultimately led to myself and my friends stopping that monster. I'd live it 1,000 times again, because I know it was worth it. Lawkeeper lowered his head and nuzzled against Hiccup. Alpha, I was wrong. I did not think one such as you could surpass what I had already seen so far. Knowing your story, listening to what you went through to bring peace. I only wish myself and those who followed me had found you earlier. Hiccup rubbed the top of Lawkeeper's nose. He still found it difficult to fully accept the dragon's praise of his actions. It still threw him for a loop when they bowed to him or called him Alpha. That any of them saw in him something to admire and follow left him speechless, even after 2 weeks. Alpha, the elder Gronkle began, how were you reunited with your brother? Hiccup turned to her, smiling as a sunbeam washed over her purple scales. Mrs. Hoverson's comments about the female Gronkle's colouring reminded her of a gemstone she had once seen, prompted Hiccup to name the elder Amethyst, and in the sunlight, the dragon scale shimmered just like the valued gems. Astrid came to me after Dad and the ships left. She helped me realise what I should do, and got the other teens to help me. We befriended the dragons in the arena and flew to the mountain. Once there, most of the teens distracted the monster, while Astrid, Stormfly, and I looked for Toothless. I found him tied to my dad's ship. I tried to free him, but the monster knocked the ship, and we sank. Dad rescued both of us, and Toothless and I went to fight the monster. Is that how? The right head of the elder Zippleback, Gobber suggested to be named Knowledge, began. You lost your leg? The left head, Gobber also suggested be called Wisdom, finished. Hiccup frowned. When Toothless fired the finishing shot into the monster's mouth, she blew up. Fire had already damaged Toothless's tail, and it ultimately gave out. When the monster's tail rose up into our path, we could not avoid it. I was knocked unconscious, and did not exactly know how I lost my leg. I had to bite your leg, brother, Toothless whispered, looking down at his paws. You were falling into that fire. I knew you were not fireproof. I had to bite your leg so I could gather you into my wings. Toothless, you fell that far without using your wings to glide down? Hiccup asked. You were safe. Dragon skin is fireproof. Hiccup walked over and grabbed his brother around the neck. Since Toothless was sitting up, this meant Hiccup could not bend to hug him. Toothless lowered his head, nuzzling Hiccup's left shoulder. Sharp shots shifted and nuzzled the top of Toothless's head. Dragon skin may be fireproof, but it can't stop broken bones from a fall from height. Hiccup whispered, I would break every bone in my body to ensure you are safe, brother. I would do the same for you, brother. Silence fell as Hiccup held Toothless for several moments. He stepped back and then turned to face his audience. There is not much more after that, he said. Astrid grunted. Nothing, except that you were unconscious for 3 weeks following the war and almost died twice. Hiccup walked over and took Astrid's right hand in his left one. She said nothing more, just stared down at their entwined hands. He blinked when the young zippleback that had lost her flock ambled over and wrapped both heads around him, Sharpshot and Astrid. The zippleback began cooing for a moment. "You brave," the right head began. The common tongue stilted as she was still learning it slowly. "And strong," the left head added. "Good Alpha," the right head said. "And good Lady Alpha," the left finished. "Thank you," Hiccup said, scratching the side of the neck wrapped around him with his free hand. The young zippleback cooed. A chuff from the blue one that was teaching her caused the zippleback to unwind her heads and step away from Astrid and Hiccup. Lawkeeper shifted closer to them and bowed to Hiccup. "Thank you, Alpha, for telling us the story. Myself and the other elders will keep it and share it with all in the nest. Your deed and the deeds of your inner circle will become ancestor tales future elders will recite to young dragons learning the way of life." Hiccup smiled. "I'm just glad I was able to keep my promise to tell you. Dad said our winter preparations are several days ahead of schedule, and that's due to all the dragons' assistance. So, thank you all." "We are Nest," the Terror Elder said, smiling. "A nest stands as one, or it does not stand at all." Before anyone could respond, Frostfire landed in front of Hiccup. He bowed, but Hiccup could tell the dragon was frazzled and distracted. "Son?" Gita asked, straightening from where she had been leaning against Shadowfire's leg, as Hiccup and Toothless recited their tale. "Eggs, Mama! Eggs!" End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Another nice short one. I like the dragon's reaction to Hiccup telling the story. And one thing I love in this is how often Hiccup and Astrid hold hands. It's a silent gesture, but sometimes you don't need words. Just a bit of silent reassurance the other is there is lovely. The young zippleback who's learning to speak common tongue is being very sweet. And of course, Pale Wings laid her eggs. Oh, that's lovely. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.